and money is not necessarily all that's going to make you happy. So realize that your decision, wherever you right now, if you heard this and you in fact didn't ever realize it and nobody ever told you, the decisions that you've made to now have gotten you into your own circumstances. So find opportunities, multiply them, and seize them. People who have success, smile. Everybody, you have success thinking, now I want to see your smile when you know that you have $1 million in 10 years, or $5 million, or $10 million. I want to see you smile. Okay? I'm so glad. So, everybody, buckle up. We're getting ready for our landing. 65 degrees in Charlotte, and it's overcast on this great evening. I hope that all your eyes have been changed and your opinions about money have been changed. And I'd like to ask if there are any questions of anyone here, because if you'd like to know more about the 5 steps, speak to me or Kwame. Make sure that we have your email so we can send you communications and that you can interview for an opportunity. Questions? Anyone? Question?
I just want to talk to you after.
That's fine. Okay.
What was one of your biggest challenges when it came to keeping up with your money, or a challenge with your money?
My greatest challenge was wanting too many things and not realizing that they didn't fit an equation. Remember, I was without this knowledge, and I'd say most recently, looking back, it was spending money in places that didn't really have any redeeming, lasting value. Clothes, hair, nails. You know, you could be neat and clean and do. But if I had known, now I've tried multiple businesses. When I was a child, I tried selling mud cakes, and I even know people that still owe me for their mud cake because I never forgot. But and you know what they told me? They said, "Oh, if I owe you, you'll never be broke." Just as broke. You heard that too?
Yeah.
Hey, they try to play that trick on us, right? Same as they played that trick, it's the same trick they play with you when you go to a job and you sign. You say, "Oh, I'm going to work for $40,000 a year. However, they're only going to give you $27,000 a year, but you could keep that other part that they took from you, and you signed it away. You say, here, you can take it. I'm lazy. I don't want to work no second job. I'm just going home, and I'm enjoying my little money what I've got from this, and I'm just going to go." But you're saying, no, I'm not going to accept that because you only got 30 years or less, and it's not going to make you wealthy if you do it that way, right? So you're not going to do that, right? Smarter than that. So, on the next one. Any other questions? Wait, one other question. I think he had a question. You had a question.
At what age did someone speak to you the way you're speaking to us?
I always knew about business, but I think the conglomerate of my knowledge came when I was about 50 years old. And that's unfortunate because I'd already lost my 30. So that's why I came today, because I don't want that to happen, and you guys have got to save not only yourselves, but our communities. Because if you don't have money, you can't speak, you don't have power, and you can't do a lot of things. But if you manifest the knowledge of power, you have to share it so that others can. And the funny thing about it is when you do share it, yours gets bigger. Don't worry about you're not going to have, and you'll be like, I'm not giving to nobody. If you don't, close fist, nothing come in. Let it go. It'll come back. Yes?
So you would recommend, if we do take jobs in corporate America, to have maybe like a 2-pronged approach where we work and then also have business on the side?
Yes, I would definitely recommend it. Smarter than that. If you can get your employer to agree to let you to be an entity for his job. Say you're an engineer working for an engineer firm, but you're still doing the same thing. It's just jargon. See, they're tricking us with the words, the verbiage. It's I'm still an engineer and I'm hiring myself out, but if I'm an independent contractor, then I get to keep my taxes, but I sure enough got to document all those deductions and make it audit proof. Is that correct? See how the difference is? But you got extra money that you can do something else with and grow your business, and one day you can unyoke from that corporate, right?
Right.
Question? Any more questions?
I got one more question. And they talked about this in the introduction, your expertise on Wall Street.
Yes.
And they talked to students while we're young to maybe think about investing in stocks, company stocks.
Yes.
Do you consider that a high or low risk investment? as far as.
There's no consideration, couldn't give you any advisement about it, and let me explain what a financial
Okay.
advisor is, and they'll tell you that they'll give you excellent information. There's three things. They take your money, yes, and they love you for it, but they will do, number one, whatever the company stipulations, and within a financial advisor, if they don't have certain things, you may want to invest in American Black colleges, you want to invest in the church, you may want to invest, whatever. If they don't offer it to that company, you can't get it. Then they make that requirement to their commission. That's number two. Did you see you in the loop? But they're using your money, and then they give you something, the same kind of game that they played with you with the job, with not informing you. So you see how you have to be informed about everything that you do? And he had a question, and then I'll come to you.
It was kind of like more of a statement. Like, would you tell everybody that's in here, like, while you're in college, to start a business? Like, you don't have to wait until you finish.
That's what I was telling you. I don't care what it is. I told you, if you turn your hat that side and everybody want to buy it, sell it. But an entity like that would require tax deductions. And so you would want to make sure that you have your tax entity straight. So that's a simple matter, and it doesn't cost that much. You can go to a tax person and make them a friend and find out, how could I do this? And you can start reading about starting a business. And then you may take some time, a year of gaining knowledge, and then you do it. And then when you graduate, junior to senior year, then you start your business. Or you can set your plan right now for you're going to get a job. When you get that job, you're going to be looking for that extra business. You'll always find a need. I found a need just sitting here looking at you young people today. You'll find that needs will be starting coming at you. I'm an artist. So you'll see needs coming all the time. Figure out that need, test it to see if people will buy it. How do you test it? Block it. Talk to people about it. Ask somebody to buy it from you. Simple. That doesn't cost you anything. Right? You can do that. So try that. Try experimenting with your ideas, but find it. And then there's something magic. I can't foster this to anybody, but I would just say, could you go to YouTube? I can't even tell you to do this, but there's something that's invisible that exists all around you. Some people have declarations of a name, but it's ineffable. It means I cannot put a word to it, but it's very powerful. So you make your decisions what you want to call it and what you're going to do with it in your life. But find some paradigm, a guiding force for you to be able to go through adversity. Did you have it when you came to college? Some people said, oh, I might not succeed. But what did you say? Oh, but I'm going to try really hard. Commit to that, the same with your money, and it will give you the same yield as acquiring your college degree. It's called effort exchange in the universe. That's how it works. So you make sure that you're doing your duty to yourself. Don't expect everybody else to love you. You love yourself, right? Okay, put in Dr. Paula Newsom. DR. And this will be the last thing, and I won't hold you anymore. NEW. Okay. SOM. ME. Yeah. E. First one. Go back. Do some. There, she's right here. Third. Okay, did you play that? She said, don't let anybody paint you into a corner, and this will be my last word, because she defines the difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur, and she's right here in Charlotte. You can take down her address. She welcomes, she's my very good friend from childhood, lived across the street, attended the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill with me, and she stated that she's putting this out because she wants you to use her. You go by, you see her business, and you ask her things. This is how you network and find people that will give you answers, and it's just having the nerve. Nothing to it. If you see somebody that's good at something you do, how do you do that? Find out. Pause it.
So on mute.
Too loud.
member of the American Academy of Optometrists, has an office right here in Charlotte. After an eye doctor's appointment following high school in her hometown of Wilmington, North Carolina, Dr. Newsom knew she wanted to be a doctor.
Well, I always knew I'd be a doctor. I just wasn't sure what type. I've always been very good in sciences, and in particular the biological sciences. However, I went and got my eyes examined before I entered the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill that summer. And I had an eye exam, and it was just the most fascinating thing I had ever experienced. And after that encounter, I decided that I wanted to be an eye doctor.
Today, her practice is thriving. In the middle of uptown, in an office building she not only works in, but also owns.
Yes.
Dr. Newsom says that in order to go from dreaming about your career to actually achieving in it, you have to make wise decisions early in your life.
I made sure that I was very, very committed, and I had a block of time every day that I devoted to studying. I would be in class from 8 in the morning till roughly 5 in the afternoon. I'd come home, I'd eat, lay down for a minute. At 7 o'clock, I was in the library every evening, and I was there every night from 7 until 11, Monday through Friday.
After graduating optometry school as one of the top students in her class, Dr. Newsom served in a residency program. This led to teaching, which she says is one of her most valuable lifelong contributions.
After I finished my residency, however, I then went to the University of Missouri, St. Louis, and I taught people how to become eye doctors. I did that for about a year, year and a half before I went into private practice. I chose to do a residency because I always wanted to teach. When I was going through my academic training, I saw very few people who looked like me. And I have a passion for children in particular, and I have a passion for transferring knowledge.
After moving to Charlotte, Dr. Newsom went from employee to employer when she opened her practice here. It was one of many firsts in her life.
And in order to really prepare me to be a business owner, I went to Central Piedmont and I took every course that they had in the Small Business Center. I went to Queens College, I took macro and microeconomics. I'm constantly taking courses on how to be a better entrepreneur. And I've gone from business owner now to entrepreneur because, business owner, if you're not there, you don't make any money. I can leave. I just got back from China not too long ago, and the practice still functions. So I am now an entrepreneur. Thank God. Hallelujah.
Successful Entrepreneur is just one of the latest in a string of firsts for Dr. Newsom.
You know, when I was growing up in Wilmington, I was one of the first African Americans to integrate schools. I wasn't in the very first year, I was in the second. So I was called the N-word, and I was spat on and all of that. And for me, breaking barriers has just been something that is a part of life.
She says there are 3 specific things you should do when you discover something
These are her
you
opinion.
enjoy
I don't
and may want
necessarily
to make a
espouse
career
them,
out
but
of.
please listen
I
for his
would tell you,
redeeming
first
value.
of all, to find out as much as you can about the subject. Second of all, I would say try to find somebody who's doing that which you like or something close to it, and try to shadow them. The third thing that I would say is make sure that you understand that whatever you think it is that you want to do is written on paper with a pencil. And if you decide that that's not really what you want to do, erase it and go on and write down the next goal.
Dr. Newsom says that one of the secrets to her success is something we all have equal access to.
Well, see, that's why I think that you've got to have a good, strong spiritual foundation, because I think if you don't have a good, strong spiritual foundation, you'll fall for anything. And when you know who you are, but more importantly, whose you are, you're grounded. And as long as you're grounded, you know, God said, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And I believe that. And so when you go, you earnestly pray, and I don't know if we can talk about prayer, but I'm going to talk about prayer because it's an integral part of my life. I do believe that God is there with me. I don't think I can fail. I think that there will be setbacks. I think those are just opportunities to reassess the situation, learn the lesson, and move on.
According to this entrepreneur, if you limit yourself, you lose. Here's her advice to a young man who visited her office recently.
And I shared with him a quote from Benjamin Mays. And bottom line on this quote is, you know, the real failure in life is not having a high enough aim. And if you aim too low, you're going to wind up with the chickens. but you gotta soar with the eagles. It's always been my philosophy.